ॐ श्रीकृष्ण शरणं मम गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्दा गोविन्दा सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय। शुक्लांभरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। नमो नमः सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो नमः सद्गुरुभ्यो नमो नमः। सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय विश्वोत्पत्त्यादिहेतवे तापत्रय विनाशाय श्रीकृष्णाय वयं नुमः। यं प्रव्रजन्तमनुपेतमपेतकृत्यं द्वैपायनो विरहकातर आजुहाव पुत्रेति तन्मयतया तरवोऽभिनेदुः तं सर्वभूतहृदयं मुनिमानतोऽस्मि। यस्वानुभावमखिलश्रुतिसारमेकम् अध्यात्मदीपम् अतिथितीर्षतां तमोन्धं संसारिणां करुणयाः पुराणगुह्यं तं व्याससूनुमुपयामि गुरुं मुनीनां। योगीन्द्राय नमस्तस्मै शुकाय ब्रह्मरूपिणे संसारसर्पदष्टं यो विष्णुरातममुमुचत् कालव्यालमुखग्रास त्रासनिर्नाशहेतवे श्रीमद्भागवतं शास्त्रं कलौकीरेण भाषितम् एतस्मादपरं किञ्चित् मनःशुद्ध्यै न विद्यते जन्मान्तरे भवेत् पुण्यं तदा भागवतं लभेत् ज्ञानवैराग्यसम्पूर्णान् हरिभक्तिपरायणान् पूर्वाचार्यात् वन्दे सम्प्रदायप्रवर्तकान् भगवन्नाम साम्राज्यं लक्ष्मी सर्वस्व विग्रहं श्रीमद्बोधेन्द्रयोगीन्द्र देशिकेन्द्रम् उपास्महे। कलिकालोचितं धर्मं नाम संकीर्तनात्मकं निर्णेतुम् अवतीर्णं तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे। हरे रामेति कृष्णेति नाम संकीर्तनं सदा लोकक्षेमाय कुर्वन्तं प्रेमिकं सद्गुरुं भजे। जन्माद्यस्य यतोऽन्वयात् इतरतश्चार्तेष्वभिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्महृदाय आदिकवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः तेजो वारिमृधां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि धर्मः प्रोज्झितकैतवोऽत्र परमो निर्मत्सराणां सतां वेद्यं वास्तवमत्र वस्तु शिवदं तापत्रयोन्मूलनम् श्रीमद्भागवते महामुनिकृते किं वा परैरीश्वरः सद्यो हृद्यवरुध्यतेऽत्र कृतिभिः शुश्रूषिभिस्तत्क्षणात् निगमकल्पतरोर्गलितं फलं शुकमुखात् अमृतद्रवसंयुतं पिबत भागवतं रसमालयं मुहुरहो रसिका भुवि भावुकाः नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् श्रीमद्भागवताख्योऽयं प्रत्यक्षः कृष्ण एव हि स्वीकृतोऽसि मया नाथ मुक्त्यर्थं भवसागरे मनोरथो मदीयोऽयं सफलः सर्वदा त्वया निर्विघ्नेनैव कर्तव्यो दासोऽहं तव केशव। श्रीहरये नमः। श्रीहरये नमः। श्रीहरये नमः। गोपिका जीवनस्मरणं गोविन्दा गोविन्दा। Thank you everyone. Thanks for accommodating that time today. Okay, so we just have 1 hour. So we have we'll do a review of chapter 5. There are 28, right? So we'll do 14, 14. So let me just see who I had for today. Vasu, can you do one half? Madhu, can you do one half?
I'll do the first half.
Okay, so do 1 to 14.
Yeah. So 1 to 14, huh?
Ama.
Okay. सूत उवाच अततं सुखासीनः उपासीनं बृहच्छ्रवाः देवर्षिः प्राह विप्रर्षिं विद्वीनापानिस्मयन्निव नारद उवाच पाराशर्यमहाभाग भवतः कश्चिदात्मना परितुष्यति शारीरः आत्मा मानस एव वा जिज्ञासितं सुसम्पन्नम् अपि ते महदद्भुतं कृतवान् भारतं यस्त्वं सर्वथा परिबृंहितम्.
And the last word, sarvartha paribrimhita.
Okay. सर्वार्थ परिबृंहितं जिज्ञासितं अधितं च यत्तत् ब्रह्म सनातनम् अतापि सोचस्यात्मानम् अकीर्तार्थ इव. करेक्टा சொன்னேனா?
Akritartha.
Okay. अकृतार्थ इव प्रभो. व्यास उवाच अस्येव मे सर्वमिदं त्वयोक्तं तथापि नात्मा परितुष्यते मे तन्मूलम् अव्यक्तमगाधबोधं पृच्छ महेत्वा पृच्छ ஒரே
Amahe.
ஓகே ஒரே पृच्छामहे त्वात्मभवात्मभूतं स वै भवान् वेद समस्तगुह्यम् उपासितो यत्पुरुषः पुराणः परावरेषु मनसैव विश्वं सृजत्य தானே சொல்லணும், ஸ்ரீஜத்ய சொல்லணுமா, எப்படி சொல்லணும்?
That's one word. Srijatya vatyati.
Okay. सृजत्तवत्यति गुणैरसङ्गः त्वं प्रयत्तन्नर्क इव त्रिलोकिं त्वं प्रयत्तन्नर्क.
Paryatannarka.
Okay. त्वं पर्यतन्नर्क इव त्रिलोकीम् अन्तश्चरो वायुरिवात्मसाक्षी परावरे ब्रह्मणि धर्मतो व्रतैः स्नातस्य मे न्यूनमलं विचक्ष्व. श्रीनारद उवाच भवादुदित प्रायं भवतानुदित प्रायं यशो भगवतो मलं येनैवासौ न तुष्येत मन्ये तद्दर्शनं किलं यथा धर्मदयश्चार्ता मुनिवर्यानुकीर्तिताः न तथा वासुदेवस्य महिमाह्यनुवर्णितः न यद्वचश्चित्रपदं हरेर्यशो जगत्पवित्रं जगत्पवित्रं प्रगृह्णीत कर्हिचित् तद्वायसं तीतमुशन्ति मानसाः न यत्र हंसा निरमन्त्यु शिक्षयाः.
And the first line there was a small pragrinita.
திருப்பி சொல்லுங்க. பிரகிருணீதன்னு சொல்லுமா அத?
I think you are saying it's gr the u sound gr. Pragrinita.
ஊ சவுண்ட் வரணும். பிரகிருணீதன்னு சொல்லணும். ஓகே.
Correct, yeah.
நான் பிரகிருணீதன்னு சொல்லிருப்பேன்.
Yeah, you are saying gri, it is gr.
Okay. Okay, நான் கரெக்ஷன் பண்ணிட்டேன். தத்வாக விசர்கோ ஜனதாக விப்ளவோ யஸ்மின் பிரதிஷ்லோகம் அபத்தவத்யபி நாமான்யன் அந்தஸ்ய யசோங்கிதானி யத் ஸ்ருண்வந்தி காயந்தி. அதுவும் கிருணான்னு சொல்லணும் நம்ம.
Correct.
கிருணந்தி சாதவஹ நைஷ்கர்மியம் அப்யச்சுத भाववर्जितं न शोभते ज्ञान मलं निरञ्जनं कुतः पुनः शश्वत् अभद्रम् ईश्वरे न चार्पितं कर्म यदप्यकारणम् अतो महाभाग भवान् अमोघदृक् उत्सुचिश्रवा सत्यरतो धृतव्रतः उरुक्रमस्याखिल बन्धमुख्यते समाधिनानुस्मर तद्विचेष्टितं.
Second line and the bandha muktaye.
Oh, okay. Tapa solita. Okay.
Something is
Bandhamuttaye
yeah, yeah.
samadhi nanusmara tadvicheshtitam tatonyata kinchana yad vivakshatah pritak drishas tatkrita rupa namabihi na kutrachit क्वापि च दुष्टितामतिः लभेत वाताहतनौरिवास्पदम्.
Yeah, stop there. Good.
जकुप्सितं धर्मकृतेऽनुशासतः स्वभावरक्तस्य महान् व्यतिक्रमः यद्वाक्यदो धर्म इदितरस्थितो न मन्यते तस्य निवारणं जनः.
Although the first word jugupsitam, okay? First.
Okay. Jugupsitam, okay. विचक्षणोऽस्यार्हति वेतितं विभोः अनन्तपारस्य निवृत्तिस्तत्सुखं प्रवर्तमानस्य गुणैरनात्मनः तदो भवान्तरस्य चेष्टितं विभोः त्यक्त्वा स्वधर्मं शरणाम्बुजं हरेः भजन् भगवोदबदे तदो यति यत्र क्व वा भद्रमभूतमुष्य किं गोवार्त आप्तोपजतां स्वधर्मतः तस्यैहतो प्रयतेत गोवितो न लभ्यते यद्भ्रमताम् उपर्यतः तल्लभ्यते दुःखवत् अन्यः सुखम् अन्यतः सुखम् तल्लभ्यते दुःखवत् सुखं कालेन सर्वत्र कबीररंहसा.
The first line, the second word mattum. Heto tasyeva heto prayeva prayateta. And the first
Tasyaiva heto. Okay.
hetoho is there, you put a F. Heto prayateta. Okay.
Heto. Okay. न वै जनो जातु कदञ्जनो व्रजेत् मुकुन्द सेव्यन्यवदङ्ग संस्कृतिं स्मरन् मुकुन्दां क्रियूपगुगणं पुनः विहातुमिच्छेन रसक्रहो यतः इदं हि विश्वं भगवानिवेदरो यदो जगत्स्थाननिरोधसम्भवाः तत्ति स्वयं वेद भवांस्ततदापि वै प्रादेशमात्रं भवद प्रदर्शितं त्वम् आत्मनात्मानम् अवेज्य मोगदृक् परस्य भुमस्व परमात्मनः कलाम् अजं प्रजातं जगदः शिवाय तत् महानुभावाप्युदयोदिकन्यताम्.
Madhu, on the first line after the parasya pumsaf.
Okay. Parasya pumsaf paramatmana kalam. Okay. Idam hi pumsas tapasastridasya va svishtasya suktasya cha buddhi tattayoho avichudorta kavibir nirubito yat uttama sloka gunanuvarnanam अहं पुरादीद भवे भवं मुने तास्यास्तु कस्याश्चन वेदवादिनां निरूपितो बालक एव योगिनां शुश्रूक्षणे प्रावृषि निर्विवीक्षतां ते मय्यभेदा किल सापलेपहे तान्ते धृतः क्रीडनगेनुवर्धिनी शत्रुकृपां यत्यभिदुल्यदर्शनाः शुश्रूषमाणे मुनयोल्पभाषिणि उच्छिष्टलेपादेनुमोदितोद्विजैः सकृत्स्मै पुञ्जे तत् अभास्तकिल्पिषः एवं प्रवृत्तस्य विशुद्धचेतसः तद्धर्म एवात्मऋषिभिः प्रजायते.
Ruchif prajayate, last word.
रुचि प्रजायते. ओके. तत्रान्वहं कृष्णकथाः प्रकायताम् अनुग्रहेणो शृण्वं मनोहराः तदा मेनुरक्तयामेणुपदं वृषुण्वतः प्रियश्रवस्यङ्गममाभवत्रुचिः
Madhu, on the first line, sorry. Anugrahena, you said gray, no. Anugrahena shrunavam.
अनुग्रहेण शृणवं
Yeah,
मनोहरः.
correct.
Okay.
And then the second line, first word, ta shraddhaya. I think you said something else on the first word.
Oh, ता श्रद्धयामेनु.
Ah,
ராஜேஷ் அது ஸ்ரீனிவான் இல்லையா ஸ்ருணுவன் மாத்திக்கிறோமா நானு
Shrunavam. Shrunavam.
ஸ்ருணவம் ஓகே
Okay. ता श्रद्धयामेनुपदं विष्णुवदः. Correct ஆ அது?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay, तस्मिंस्तदा लब्धरुचिर्महामुने प्रियश्रवस्य स्खलितामधिर्मम ययागमे तत्सदसत्स्वमायया पश्ये मयि ब्रह्मणि कल्पितं परे इदं शरत् प्रावृषिकावृत तु हरेः sorry इदं शरत् प्रावृक्षिकावृदो हरेः विशृण्वदो मेणुस्वं यशोमलं सङ्गीत्यमानं मुनिभिर्महात्मभिः भक्तिः प्रवृत्तात्मरजस्तमोभः.
Good. I think some of this, the long lines are always very hard. I think that anytime it's short lines, long lines will be hard. Okay, so we have just 12 more left. So let's finish off this 12 and then we'll see how much time is left and then we'll finish the story for fifth also. Okay. So Jayashree, welcome back to the live class. So you can be a student and Sabita, you can be a student. Okay, start with 29. Tasyaivam menu raktasya, comma, prashritasya hatainasah, shraddha dhanasya balasya, dantasyanucharasya cha. So that's one word, can't break it. Tasyaivam menuraktasya prashritasya hateinasah shraddadhanasya balasya dantasyanucharasya cha.
तस्यैवं मेनुरक्तस्य पश्रितस्य हतैन सह श्रद्धानस्य बालस्य दान्तस्यानुचरस्य च तस्यैवं मेनुरक्तस्य प्रश्रितस्य हतैन सह श्रद्धानस्य बालस्य दान्तस्यानुचरस्य च
तस्यैवं मेनुरक्तस्य प्रश्रितस्य हतैन सह श्रद्धानस्य बालस्य दान्तस्यानुचरस्य च.
Within the second line, first word, Shraddha Dhanasya.
Oh, okay. Enta Shraddhana irukadukkaga.
Double the and then dha.
Yeah, dha, that's a dirgham, right?
Ama. Second, the third da. There are two das after shra, which is the first.
Shraddhanasya. Okay.
Correct.
तस्यैवं मेनुरक्तस्य प्रश्रुतस्य हतैन सह श्रद्धानस्य बालस्य दान्तस्यानुचरस्य च.
Jnanam guhyatamam yattat, comma, sakshat bhagavatoditam anvavochan gamishyantah, comma, kripaya dina vatsalaha. Jnanam guhyatamam yattat sakshat bhagavatoditam anvavochan gamishyantah kripaya dina vatsalaha.
ज्ञानं गुह्यतमं यत् साक्षात् भगवतोदितम् अन्ववोचन् गमिष्यन्तः कृपया दीनवत्सलाः ज्ञानं गुह्यतमं यत् साक्षात् भगवतोदितम् अन्ववोचन् गमिष्यन्तः कृपया दीनवत्सलाः.
Mention the first line, the yattat is a it sound again there.
ज्ञानं गुह्यतमं यत्
Yattat.
Oh, yattat. Okay, jnanam guhyatamam yattat. Double
Correct.
T irukku illaya?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
ज्ञानं गुह्यतमं यत्तत् साक्षात् भगवतोदितम् अन्ववोचन् गमिष्यन्तः कृपया दीनवत्सलाः. ज्ञानं गुह्यतमं यत्तत् साक्षात् भगवतोदितम् अन्ववोचन् गमिष्यन्तः कृपया दीनवत्सलाः.
येनैवाहं भगवतो वासुदेवस्य वेधसः मायानुभावम् अविदम्, if you want to break it, bhavam avidam, येन गच्छन्ति तत्पदम्. येनैवाहं भगवतो वासुदेवस्य वेदसः मायानुभावमविदम् येन गच्छन्ति तत्पदम्.
येनैवाहं भगवतो वासुदेवस्य वेधसः मायानुभावमविदं येन गच्छन्ति तत्पदं. येनैवाहं भगवतो वासुदेवस्य वेधसः मायानुभावमविदं येन गच्छन्ति तत्पदम्.
येनैवाहं भगवतो वासुदेवस्य वेधसः मायानुभावमविदं येन गच्छन्ति तत्पदम्. येनैवाहं भगवतो वासुदेवस्य वेधसः मायानुभावमविदं येन गच्छन्ति तत्पदम्.
एतत् samsuchitam brahman. You'll have a is there that becomes a in when you stop, so it becomes brahman, tapa traya chikitsitam yadishware bhagavati short e, karma brahmani bhavitam. एतत् संसूचितं ब्रह्मन् तापत्रयचिकित्सितं यदीश्वरे भगवति कर्म ब्रह्मणि भावितम्.
एतत् संसूचितं ब्रह्मन् तापत्रयचिकित्सितं यदीश्वरे भगवते कर्म ब्रह्मणि भावितम्. एतत् संसूचितं ब्रह्मन् तापत्रयचिकित्सितं यदीश्वरे भगवते कर्म ब्रह्मणि भावितम्.
एतत् संसूचितं ब्रह्मन् तापत्रयचिकित्सितं यदीश्वरे भगवति कर्म ब्रह्मणि भावितम्. एतत् संसूचितं ब्रह्मन् तापत्रयचिकित्सितं यदीश्वरे भगवति कर्म ब्रह्मणि भावितम्.
आमयो यश्च भूतानां जायते येन सुव्रत तदेव ह्यामयं द्रव्यं न पुनाति चिकित्सितम्. आमयो यश्च भूतानां जायते येन सुव्रत तदेव ह्यामयं द्रव्यं न पुनाति चिकित्सितम्.
आमयो यश्च भूतानां जायेते येन सुव्रत तदेव ह्यामयं द्रव्यं न पुनाति चिकित्सितम्. आमयो यश्च भूतानां जायते येन सुव्रत तदेव ह्यामयं द्रव्यं न पुनाति चिकित्सितम्.
आमयो यश्च भूतानां जायते येन सुव्रत तदेव ह्यामयं द्रव्यं न पुनाति चिकित्सितम्. आमयो यश्च भूतानां जायते येन सुव्रत तदेव ह्यामयं द्रव्यं न पुनाति चिकित्सितम्.
एवं नृणां क्रियायोगाः सर्वे संसृति हेतवः त एवात्म विनाशाय कल्पन्ते कल्पिताः परे. एवं नृणां क्रियायोगाः सर्वे संसृति हेतवः त एवात्म विनाशाय कल्पन्ते कल्पिताः परे.
एवं नृणां क्रियायोगाः सर्वे संस्मृतिहेतवः त एवात्मविनाशाय कल्पन्ते कल्पिताः परे. एवं नृणां क्रियायोगाः सर्वे संस्मृतिहेतवः त एवात्मविनाशाय कल्पन्ते कल्पिताः परे.
एवं नृणां क्रियायोगाः सर्वे संसृति हेतवः त एवात्मविनाशाय कल्पन्ते कल्पिताः परे. एवं नृणां क्रियायोगाः सर्वे संसृति हेतवः त एवात्मविनाशाय कल्पन्ते कल्पिताः परे
यदत्र क्रियते कर्म भगवत् परितोषणं ज्ञानं यत्तद् अधीनं, you can break it that it will be easier, यत्तद् अधीनं हि भक्ति योग समन्वितम्. यदत्र क्रियते कर्म भगवत् परितोषणं ज्ञानं यत्तदधीनं हि भक्ति योग समन्वितम्.
Is there a double th in the second line, Rajesh?
Yet tat, and the first ta there is a
Yat
it and a
tat.
ta.
Okay.
Yeah. And then the will break it into it and a. So yet
Okay.
tat adhinam.
Okay. यदत्र क्रियते कर्म भगवत् परितोषणं ज्ञानं यत्तदधीनं हि भक्ति योग समन्वितम्. यदत्र क्रियते कर्म भगवत् परितोषणं ज्ञानं यत्तदधीनं हि भक्ति योग समन्वितम्.
यदत्र क्रियते कर्म भगवत् परितोषणं ज्ञानं यत्तद् अधीनं च भक्ति योग समन्वितम्.
Adhinam hi on the second line.
Oh, अधीनं. यदत्र क्रियते कर्म भगवत् परितोषणं ज्ञानं यत्तद् अधीनं हि भक्ति योग समन्वितम्.
कुर्वाणा यत्र कर्माणि भगवच् शिक्षया सकृत् गृणन्ति गुणनामानि short e कृष्णस्यानुस्मरन्ति च. That's one word. It's कृष्णस्य अनुस्मरन्ति च, but it will flow as one word. कुर्वाणा यत्र कर्माणि भगवत् शिक्षया सकृत् गृणन्ति गुणनामानि कृष्णस्यानुस्मरन्ति च.
कुर्वाणा यत्र कर्माणि भगवत् शिक्षया सकृतः भगवत् शिक्षया सकृत गृह्णन्ति गुणनामानि कृष्णस्यानुस्मरन्ति च.
Jason, the first line, last letter, krit. Bhagavad Chikshaya Sakrit. Krit or krit. You know, I think you were saying something different.
Okay, I'll try that. Kurvanna yatra karmani bhagavad chikshaya sakrit.
Yeah.
Correct, huh?
Yeah, correct.
Grinanti gunanamani krishnasyanusmaranti cha.
The second line, first, you're putting an emphasis, some slightly, just grinanti. That's it.
Grinanti gunanamani.
Yeah, that's all. I think you were saying grinanti. I was hearing it. I was hearing it extra in there.
Grinanti gunanamani. Okay, got it. Thank you.
First word வந்து kurvana கிடையாதா?
Kurvana. I think second time Jesse says something slightly different. I think there was must have slipped. Kurvana.
Kurvana yatra karmani bhagavad shikshaya sakrit grananti gunanamani krishnasyanusmaranti cha. Kurvana yatra karmani bhagavad shikshaya sakrit grananti gunanamani krishnasyanusmaranti cha.
Namo bhagavate tubhyam, vasudevaya dhimahi pradyumnayani ruddhaya. So pradyumnaya aniruddhaya. Okay, so pradyumnayani ruddhaya, namas sankarshanaya cha. So Bhagavatam, you know, there are a lot of places where this is just one line, but there are a lot of places where lot of stutis will come, right? Like Bhishma Stuti, we're going to see Kunti Stuti. There will be like so many, where like 10 stanzas, 15 stanzas, 20 stanzas will come. But some things like this are like one stanzas. But this is like Narada is praying. So this is one line, which is just this one stanza you can mark and keep, right? Because these individual ones are also prayers, directly praying here. She's praying to Narayana, praying to Pradyumna, praying to Aniruddha, and praying to Sankarshana. So like Krishna, Balarama, Aniruddha, and Pradyumna. 4 of them he's praying here. Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi Pradyumnaya Aniruddhaya Namas Sankarshanaya Cha.
Namo Bhagavate Tubhyam Vasudevaya Dhimahi प्रद्युम्नाय निरुद्धाय नमः संकर्षणाय च नमो भगवते तुभ्यं वासुदेवाय धीमहि प्रद्युम्नाय निरुद्धाय नमः संकर्षणाय च
नमो भगवते तुभ्यं वासुदेवाय धीमहि प्रद्युम्नाय निरुद्धाय नमः संकर्षणाय च नमो भगवते तुभ्यं वासुदेवाय धीमहि प्रद्युम्नाय निरुद्धाय नमः संकर्षणाय च
इति मूर्त्यभिधानेन one word comma mantra मूर्तिम अमूर्तिकम if you want to break it that मूर्तिम अमूर्तिकम यजते यज्ञ पुरुषम comma स सम्यग् दर्शनः पुमान् इति मूर्त्यभिधानेन मन्त्रमूर्तिममूर्तिकं यजते यज्ञपुरुषं स सम्यग् दर्शनः पुमान्
इति मूर्त्यभिधानेन मन्त्रमूर्तिम् अमूर्तिकं यजते यज्ञपुरुषं स सम्यग् दर्शनः पुमान् इति मूर्त्यभिधानेन मन्त्रमूर्तिम् अमूर्तिकं यजते यज्ञपुरुषं स सम्यग् दर्शनः पुमान्
इति मूर्त्यभिधानेन मन्त्रमूर्तिममूर्तिकं यजते यज्ञपुरुषं स सम्यक् दर्शनः पुमान् इति मर्त्यभिधानेन इति मूर्त्यभिधानेन मन्त्रमूर्तिममूर्तिकं यजते यज्ञपुरुषं स सम्यक् दर्शनः पुमान्
imam swanigamam brahman. You have a double na there, so first put in brahman comma next word starts with a avetya madanushtitam adanme jnanam aishwaryam comma swasmin bhavam cha keshavah imam swanigamam brahman avetya madanushtitam adanme jnanam aishwaryam swasmin bhavam cha keshavah
इमं स्वनिगमं ब्रह्मन् अवेत्य मधुनिष्ठितम् अदान्मे ज्ञानमैश्वर्यं स्वस्मिन् भावं च केशवः इमं स्वनिगमं ब्रह्मन् अवेत्य मधुनिष्ठितम् अदान्मे ज्ञानमैश्वर्यं स्वस्मिन् भावं च केशवः.
You see in the first line madanushtitam.
Yeah.
इमं स्वनिगमं ब्रह्मन् अवेत्य मदनुष्ठितम् अदामे ज्ञानमैश्वर्यं स्वस्मिन् भावं च केशवः इमं स्वनिगमं ब्रह्मन् अवेत्य मदनुष्ठितम् अदामे ज्ञानमैश्वर्यं अदान्मे ज्ञानमैश्वर्यं स्वस्मिन् भावं च केशवः
त्वमप्यधब्र one word त्वमप्यधब्र श्रुत विश्रुतं विभोः comma समाप्यते येन विदां बुभुत्सितम् आख्याहि दुःखैर् next word the muhur ardhitatmanam is there. If you want to break it, you can break at that ra. Muhur ardhitatmanam. If you want to break it, muhur ardhitatmanam, comma sanklesha nirvanam ushanti nanyatha. Tomapyadabhrashruta vishrutam vibhoho samapyate yena vidam bubutsitam आख्याहि दुःखैर् मुहुरर्दितात्मनां संक्लेश निर्वाणमुशन्ति नान्यथा.
Rajeshi, the second line starting, is it आख्याहि or आख्याहि?
आख्याहि.
Okay, my book has pra in there, prakhyahi.
Oh, okay. Just change it to आख्याहि.
Okay.
Second kha. आख्याहि.
ஆக்யாஹி பிரக்யாஹி ரெண்டு இருக்கா?
இல்ல she has prakhyahi.
இல்ல எந்துல ரெண்டுமே இருக்கா நான் கேக்குறேன்.
எனக்கம் slash இருக்கு.
Oh, slash. I mean, I am assuming that means either can be used. If it has a slash, right? Either can be used. So we just stick to this for consistency.
Akyahi. Okay.
Akyahi.
त्वमप्यदभ्रश्रुतविश्रुतं विभोः समाप्यते येन विदां बुभुत्सितम् आख्याहि दुःखैर्मुहुरर्दितात्मनां संक्लेशनिर्वाणमुशन्ति नान्यथा त्वमप्यदभ्रश्रुतविश्रुतं विभोः समाप्यते येन विदां बुभुत्सितम् आख्याहि दुःखैर्मुहुरर्दितात्मनां संक्लेशनिर्वाणमुशन्ति नान्यथा
ममप्यदभ्रश्रुतविश्रुतं विभोः समाप्यते येन विदां भुभुत्सितम् आख्याहि दुःखैर्मुहुरर्दितात्मनां संक्लेशनिर्वाणमुशन्ति नान्यथा त्वमप्यदभ्रश्रुतविश्रुतं विभोः समाप्यते येन विदां भुभुत्सितम् आख्याहि दुःखैर्मुहुरर्दितात्मनां संक्लेशनिर्वाणमुशन्ति नान्यथा.
इति श्रीमद्भागवते महापुराणे पारमहंस्यां संहितायां प्रथमस्कन्धे व्यासनारदसंवादे पश्चिमोऽध्यायः. Okay, so we'll pause here. We'll finish the story for the fifth one, and then if we have time, we'll do a few stanzas of the sixth one also today. So kind of where, recapping, right, what happened in the fifth one, where Narada comes and Vyasa is telling Narada, that the root cause of the dissatisfaction. So you please find the problem, right? He's kind of giving it to Narada. And Narada first states that, all you have done is great. However, he said you have not done enough to, talk about the Vasudevasya Mahima. You have not done enough to talk about the greatness of Vasudeva. You've done it, but you have not done enough of it, right? You haven't put Vasudeva in the center of it, right? And says that which does not satisfy the spiritual sense of with bhakti or devotion is not considered that great, right? So that's what Narada says. And he says, everything you have said, it tells people how to do things, what the punyam, pavam, prayachittam and everything. But people can only do that if they are already enlightened spiritually. Without that, it's very difficult to do all this. That's what Narada says. And then he starts talking about his own story, right? So that's where we saw when Narada was a small boy, his mother was widowed and all that. And then we saw how these sages come during the Chaturmasyam, and we were kind of seeing that how Narada was getting more attached to it. So kind of where we left, right, was Narada comes to a point where he's now following the sages. He's now constantly listening to everything that they're actually talking about, right? And then he says, by constantly hearing about Narayana all the time, because that's all those sages were doing during that month, he says what happens is, number one, he says is, my interest in it became even more. See, initially when you start, we may not have interest, but then more and more you keep hearing it. He says my interest towards it increased, number one. He says, once my interest towards it increased, the more I started getting closer to the Lord, what happens is my sins started going down and my attachments to things started going down. So all that automatically happens because this is filling the void, right? That is actually there. He says all of that is happening. And because of that, I got even more attached. It kind of becomes a vicious cycle. And then he says, once I started hearing this, he says, my devotion to the Lord became unflinching. I did not care about anything else. And the more I started realizing this, I started feeling that me and the Lord are one. There's no difference, right? All of this is just that what we are seeing is just we are perceiving the difference. There's no difference between me and the Lord and all that. That's what Narada tells, right? That he was experiencing as a child, which, so anyway, this months pass, right? And when the months pass and then they stay there for like 4 months, right? 4-5 months during the rainy season, they're staying there. And one day he says, I was just very attached to these sages. And I was completely following them both in body and mind. That is very important. He says, physically, I was always there around them. But even my mind was always attached to them as well. I was not thinking of anything else. That was the level of commitment Narada had every day for several months. Then one day, I don't know if I said that. So towards the end, one day when there was, his mother was coming late or something like that, Narada was staying back. So he was very hungry. So one of the sages had some food left. So he says, with the permission of the sage, he says it very clearly. He doesn't say, I go and eat that food. He said, asking permission, I asked the sage if I can eat some of the leftovers which are there. So one of the sages gave me permission to eat that. So he says, I ate the leftovers of the sage. He says, the moment I ate that, he says, I actually felt, Vishuddha Chetasaha. I felt like I got purified in my heart and my mind. That is possible because these are great Bhagavatas, right? I think Anandji was asking, do you know who these sages are? So I don't, there's no call out of who these sages were. But the point is, they were so devoted that they are able to influence, right? That is what is important, right? You have to follow the right people, right? That you are then getting influenced by that. And then these sages were great people that Narada really got influenced by that. And then, he was able to see a difference in that. So he says, with that, with all the knowledge, and then before they left, so when the time finally came, for the sages to leave. So finally, when the time came for the sages to leave, so I think one place it says Jnanam Guhyatamam, somewhere it comes. So he says, they taught me the secret of the Supreme Lord. They gave me the ultimate knowledge. See, it's one thing for any of us to say, but if it is coming from the great sages or coming from Narada itself, when Narada gave that message to Dhruva of how to imagine Narayana, it stuck in Dhruva's heart. So similarly, when the sages gave this message to Narada of the Supreme Lord, the true, who is the Brahman and all that, Narada says, it stuck to my heart. I instantly came to the realization of what it is because they gave me that information, right? So it came from them. So then finally they left, right? So then Narada says, after they left, he says, I came to the conclusion, Vyasa, that the only practical way for somebody to reach salvation, get rid of all the miseries in life, right, is to serve the Lord through bhakti. That is number one. He says there's only one other thing which beats even that. And Narada says is to serve the greatest devotees of the Lord, which he did, right? He says, I did not serve Bhagavan directly. I served the greatest devotees of the Lord, and Bhagavan blessed me because of that. And we'll see how Bhagavan blesses him in the next chapter only. But he says, Bhagavan blessed me because of that. Because, we've seen several places where he says, Nanu Bhakta Dasaha, I am a servant to my devotees, right? So whoever worships and is more committed to my devotees is greater than prayers to me. So he says, that is what I learned, Narada says, from all this experience of being around those sages. So he says, everybody should, worship the Lord and also worship the greatest of the devotees. There should be no doubt about it. And he gives one example. He says, whatever you do, everything we do creates karma. He says, but if the way you do the things is towards the Lord, then he says that same activity eliminates the karma that you are actually doing, right? That's what the example he gives. And he gives one example. I'll quote it because it comes here. He says that if somebody has dairy issues, because of which when they have something dairy, that they have bowel issues which happen, sometimes the medicine which is prescribed is to give curd along with some other herbs. But the curd is also coming from milk. So the same milk which caused the issue goes away when it becomes curd and then mixed with something else. See, the same way you do any activity you do, if you direct it towards the service of the Lord, then any karma it gets, it'll automatically burn that karma, it'll eliminate it. So that is what, some of the lessons, he's kind of giving the lessons he's actually learning from all of this, right? So in this way, he says, what Narada says, he recommends that anybody should always channel all the work that you're doing, no matter what work you're doing. He's not saying quit all the work. He says, whatever work you're doing, constantly remember the greatness of the Lord's name, Bhagavan's names, and the activities and all of that. Keep thinking about it and surrender all your work to it. Then you will not be bound by the karma of that. And that's when he comes and says, with this, let's pray to, Vasudeva, let's pray to Nara Krishna, let's pray to Pradyumna, Aniruddha, and Sankarshana, who are all but just the various energies, so the incarnations of the Lord with various levels of potency, right? With that he comes to an end. So he says, oh Narada, the conclusion he says is, take all the knowledge you have, right, and then put it in a way for two things. He says, one is do it in a way that the greatest of paramatmas will feel satisfied reading what you are doing. That's number one. And he says, number two, the common people masses, how do you get them out, right? And by you write the greatest in such a way that when the normal people, and he says very clearly, all categories of people. So there's no restrictions here of you have to be a man or a woman or a Brahmin or a Shudra, you have to do good work, you have to do bad work. It doesn't matter. He says all categories of people, whoever hear this will get eliminated and will go through get out of the miseries and will have peace of mind. So with this chapter comes to an end. Right, and then we'll see the 6th chapter meaning in the next class, but we'll take 15 minutes. Maybe we'll just do a few more stanzas of 6th one, right? So maybe we'll just continue today with Jayashree and Sabita only because only 15 minutes left. So Suta Vacha, and then in the 6th chapter, Vyasa asks. See, the difference between Narayanam and Bhagavatam is in Narayanam, because Bhattatripad is just saying it, he takes the entire story and then he tells it as a simple story and gets it done. In Bhagavatam, what will happen is they'll say one story, then some questions will get asked, they'll go rewind and then go what was missed. So depending on the questions that get asked, we going to keep going back and forth on a single story. That's what is going to happen here also, but that's okay. So we'll just follow the way this is written, right? So Suta Vacha, Evam Nishamya Bhagavan, comma, Devarsher, so double ir, Devarsher Janma Karmacha, Bhuyah Papracha Tam Brahman, comma, Vyasas Satyavati Sutaha. Sutam Huvacha, Evam Nishamya Bhagavan, Devarsher Janma Karmacha, Bhuyah Papracha Tam Brahman, Vyasas Satyavati Sutaha.
सूतोवाच एवं निशम्य भगवान् देवर्षे जन्म कर्म च भूयः प्रपच्छतं ब्रह्मन् व्यासः सत्यवती सुतः
Second line la papracha.
भूयः पप्रच्छ.
Yeah.
Okay. सूतोवाच एवं निशम्य भगवान् देवर्षे जन्म कर्म च भूयः पप्रच्छतं ब्रह्मन् व्यासः सत्यवती सुतः.
Suta Uvacha Evam Nishamya Bhagavan Devarshirjanma Karma Cha Bhuyah Prachatvam
Bhuya
Prachattam Brahman Vyasa Satyavati Sutaha. Correct?
correct.
Okay. Suta Uvacha Evam Nishamya Bhagavan Devarshirjanma Karma Cha Bhuyah Prachattam Brahman Vyasa Satyavati Sutaha.
That papracha and tam you can treat as two different words. So bhuya papracha tam brahman.
You break into pracha tam brahman. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Vyasa vacha bhikshubhir vipravasite, comma, vijnana deshtrubis, one word, vijnana deshtrubis tava vartamano vayasyadhye, comma, tatah kim akharot bhavan. Vyasahuvacha bhikshubhirvipravasite vijnanadestrubhistava vartamano vayasyadhye tatah kimakarod bhavan.
ராஜேஷ் இங்க விஞ்ஞானதேஷ்ட அப்படி இருக்கே ஷார்ட்டா இருக்குன்னா
Because it becomes adestrubis. So vijnanadestrubis.
ஓகே நான்
Okay.
long
Now.
भिक्षु sorry
விஞ்ஞானான
இல்ல நான் இல்லங்க விஞ்ஞானாதேஷ்ட்ருபிஸ்
அங்க விஞ்ஞானா அழிச்சுலாமா
ஆமா this vignyanadeshtrubis. If you have vijnanana then there's no second na.
விஞ்ஞானா விஞ்ஞானவா
இல்ல
விஞ்ஞான போட்டுக்கோங்க
இல்ல விஞ்ஞான adeshtrubis, two words. Okay, that becomes vignyanadeshtrubis.
விஞ்ஞானா தேஷ். Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
भिक्षुभिर्विप्रवसिते विज्ञानादेष्ट्रभिस्तव वर्तमानो वयस्याद्ये ततः किम् अकरोत् भवान्. भिक्षुभिर्विप्रवसिते विज्ञानादेष्ट्रभिस्तव वर्तमानो वयस्याद्ये ततः किम् अकरोत् भवान्.
Vyasa Uvacha Bhikshubhirvipravasite Vijnanadeshtrubhistava Vartamano Vayasyadye Tatah Kimakarod Bhavan. Vyasa Uvacha Bhikshubhirvipravasite Vijnanadeshtrubhistava वर्तमानो वयस्याद्ये ततः किमकरोद् भवान्
स्वायम्भुव कया वृत्त्या वर्तितं ते परं वयः कथं छेदम् उदस्राक्षीः काले प्राप्ते कलेवरम् स्वायम्भुवकया वृत्त्या वर्तितं ते परं वयः कथं छेदमुदस्राक्षीः काले प्राप्ते कलेवरम्
स्वायम्भुवकया वृत्त्या वर्तितं ते परं वयः कथं छेदमुदस्राक्षीः काले प्राप्ते कलेवरम् स्वायम्भुवकया वृत्त्या वर्तितं ते परं वयः कथं छेदमुदस्राक्षीः काले प्राप्ते कलेवरम्
स्वायम्भुवकया वृत्त्या वर्तितं ते परं वयः कथं चेदमुदस्राक्षीः काले प्राप्ते कलेवरम् स्वायम्भुवकया वृत्त्या वर्तितं ते परं वयः कथं चेदमुदस्राक्षीः काले प्राप्ते कलेवरम्
Prak kalpa, so double ik, one becomes a ik, one becomes a ka. Prak kalpa vishayam etam, comma, smritim te sura sattama na hesha vyavadat kalaha. So because you're putting a comma, put a visarga there, kalaha, comma, esha sarva nirakritihi. प्राकल्प विषयामेतां स्मृतिं ते सुरसत्तमः नह्येष व्यवधात् कालः एष सर्वनिराकृतिः
प्राकल्पविषयामेतां स्मृतिं ते सुरसत्तम न ह्येष व्यवधात् कालः एष सर्वनिराकृतिः प्राकल्पविषयामेतां स्मृतिं ते सुरसत्तम न ह्येष व्यवधात् कालः एष सर्वनिराकृतिः
प्राकल्पविषयामेतां स्मृतिं ते सुरसत्तम न ह्येष व्यवधात् कालः एष सर्वनिराकृतिः प्राकल्पविषयामेतां स्मृतिं ते सुरसत्तम न ह्येष व्यवधात् कालः एष सर्वनिराकृतिः
वितंग सर्व निराकृतिः
ओ एष सर्वनिराकृतिः
नारदो वाच भिक्षुभिर्विप्रवसिते comma vijnanadeštruਭir. Again, same thing like how it came earlier. So this vijnanadeštruਭir, this time deštrubhir mama vartamano vayasyadhye comma tata, next word etad akarasham. If you want to break it, that will be easier. Etad akarasham. नारदो वाच भिक्षुभिर्विप्रवसिते विज्ञानादेष्टृभिर्मम वर्तमानो वयस्याध्ये ततएतदकारशम्
भिक्षुभिर्विप्रवसिते विज्ञानादेष्टृभिर्मम वर्तमानो वयस्याध्ये तत एतद् अकारशम्
विज्ञानादेष्टृभिर् ir sound.
देष्टृभिर् okay. भिक्षुभिर्विप्रवसिते विज्ञानादेष्टृभिर्मम वर्तमानो व्यवस्याध्ये तत एतद् अकारशम्
Second vayasyadhye. Okay, second word.
Oh, na where no vayasyadhe. Yeah.
नारद उवाच भिक्षुभिर्विप्रवसिते विज्ञानादेष्टृभिर्मम वर्तमानो वयस्याद्ये तत एतदकारशम् नारद उवाच भिक्षुभिर्विप्रवसिते विज्ञानादेष्टृभिर्मम वर्तमानो वयस्याद्ये तत एतदकारशम्
Rajesh, for a question. The previous sloka, the third line, the kalaha irka, the visargam irka.
If you are saying you're pausing there, you add the visarga.
Okay, okay.
Okay, because we are pausing there, in the middle we putting comma, that becomes kalaha.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
ராஜேஷ் அந்த ரெண்டாவது ஸ்லோகமும் அஞ்சாவதும் ஃபர்ஸ்ட் லைன் ஒண்ணா தான் இருக்கு இல்லையா?
Yeah, but Vijnana Desh through B varaikum it is the same. But because the first line has tava, that visarga there becomes is. Here because mama, the visarga becomes a ir. That's the difference. But the word the Vijnana Desh through B is the same.
Yeah, இந்த புக்ல வந்து அந்த செகண்ட்ல வந்து விக்யா நாதே அப்படின்னு போட்டிருக்கு, செகண்ட்ல இருந்து விக்யா நாதேன்னு போட்டிருக்கு. சோ ஃபர்ஸ்ட்ல வந்து விக்யா நாதேன்னு மாத்திக்கணும் இல்லையா?
ஆமா correct. It's the same thing. It's the same word. Vijnana Desh through B.
ஃபர்ஸ்ட் இதுல வந்து தப்பா போட்டுருக்கோம்.
Exactly, yeah. It's the same word. Vijnana Desh through B is the same in both places.
Okay, thank you.
Ekatmaja me janani, comma Yoshin Mudha cha kinkari Mayatmaje Nanya. It's Mayatmaje Ananya, but that S symbol is there. So Mayatmaje Nanya Gatau, comma Chakre Snehanu Bandhanam. Ekatmaja me janani Yoshin Mudha cha kinkari Mayatmaje Nanya Gatau Chakre Snehanu Bandhanam.
एकात्मजा मे जननी योषन् मूढा च किङ्करी मय्यात्मजे नन्यगतो चक्रे स्नेहानुबन्धनम् एकात्मजा मे जननी योषन् मूढा च किङ्करी मय्यात्मजे नन्यगतो चक्रे स्नेहानुबन्धनम्
एकात्मजा मे जननी योषिन्मूढा च किङ्करी मय्यात्मजेनन्यगतौ चक्रे स्नेहानुबन्धनम् एकात्मजा मे जननी योषिन्मूढा च किङ्करी मय्यात्मजेनन्यगतौ चक्रे स्नेहानुबन्धनम्
Sasvatantra na kalpasit. So you have dyo, that word dyo that is there, we're going to break it. So we're going to first put a it. So kalpasit, it, comma. And the next word becomes yo. Yoga kshemam mamechati. Because you're breaking it, otherwise you can say it continuously. But yoga sit, comma, yoga kshemam mamechati. Ishasya hi vashe lokho, comma, yosha darumayi yatha. Sasvatantra na kalpasit yoga kshemam mamechati. Ishasya hi vashe lokho yosha darumayi yatha.
शाश्वतन्त्रा न कल्पासीत् योगक्षेमं ममेच्छति ईशस्य हि वशे लोको योषादारुमयी यथा शाश्वतन्त्रा न कल्पासीत् योगक्षेमं ममेच्छति ईशस्य हि वशो लोको योषादारुमयी यथा
Vashe, Jayashriyanda. Ishasya hi vashe loko.
ओ ईशस्य हि वशे लोको करेक्ट
शाश्वतन्त्राण कल्पासीत् योगक्षेमं ममेच्छति ईशस्य हि वशे लोको योषादारुमयी यथा शाश्वतन्त्राण कल्पासीत् योगक्षेमं ममेच्छति ईशस्य हि वशे लोको योषादारुमयी यथा.
Just one more and stop. Aham cha tat brahma kule, comma, ushivams thadavekshaya, long u, dig desha kala vyutpanno, one word, kala vyutpanno, comma, balakah pancha hayanah. Aham cha tat brahma kule ushivams thadavekshaya, dig desha kala vyutpanno, balakah panchahayanah.
अहं च तद् ब्रह्मकुले ऊषिवांस्तदपेक्षया
Tad, it neither say tad avekshaya or tadavekshaya.
तद् अपेक्षया
Avekshaya.
अपेक्षया per right
இல்ல va Victor avekshaya.
ஓ எங்க per போட்டிருக்கு
Okay, just change it to va avekshaya.
okay अहं च तद् ब्रह्मकुले उषिवांस्तद् अवेक्षया दिग्देशकालव्युत्पन्नो बालकः पञ्चहायनः अहं च तद्ब्रह्मकुले ऊशिवांस्तद् अवेक्षया दिग्देशकालव्युत्पन्नो बालकः पञ्चहायनः
अहं च तद्ब्रह्मकुले ऊशिवांस्तदपेक्षया दिग्देशकालाव्युत्पन्नो बालकः पञ्चहायनः.
Underline the if you have apekshaya, just change it to avekshaya.
Oh, sir. अहं च तद्ब्रह्मकुले ऊशिवांस्तदपेक्षया दिग्देशकालाव्युत्पन्नो बालकः पञ्चहायनः.
Stop here today. Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha, Shri Hare Namaha. Gopika Jeevana Smaranam, Govinda Govinda, Sadgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. कायेन वाचा मनसेन्द्रियैर्वा बुद्ध्यात्मना वा प्रकृते स्वभावात् करोमि यत् सकलं परस्मै नारायणायेति समर्पयामि. Thank you, everyone. So next class we'll finish 6, okay, and we'll finish the meaning of 6. So we have finished about 210 stanzas so far. So the class after next we'll do a review, okay. So what I'll do is I'll probably break it into 20s, right? And then you all can pick who wants to do which one. Okay, that'll be the class after next.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Rajesh.
Thank you, Rajesh. Have a good evening.
Thank you.